Burnt Away?
I have not.
But I'm saying that card's never going to resolve.
Yeah. Yeah, you're totally right. Yeah, Crater's Claws looks ridiculous. Randy, what do you got over in the red zone?
Yeah, I've been watching Day 9, Sean Plott build. He's got an Abzan build.
You're happy.
The Abzan, you know what it is about Abzan for me? It's Raid, which is really just black-white. I mean, it's not Outlast, which is the real Abzan mechanic. But the fact that Raid is so easy to trigger. Yeah, the Raid goes into red. So, but if you look at his deck, he's got 2 Mardu Skull Hunters in his 2-drop slot. He's got 2 Mardu Horde Chiefs. So maybe it's Mardu that I really like. It somehow, though, it's really your black-white, and then what's your other gold cards? Anyway, Sean's deck has a lot of this Raid. It's really easy to turn on. The Skull Hunter, you're going to see a lot of. This is a format, I think, where you got to hold your extra lands, because your opponent is going to attack you with some random, like, 0-4 that doesn't do anything, and then all of a sudden, 1 and a black for a 2-1, and you have to discard a card. It's like the best Ravenous Rads ever. And it's a warrior. I actually see, and Sean, yeah, there he goes. He just put 3 different copies of Chief of the Scale into his deck. There's a ton of warriors in this set. And, you know, it may not be obvious at first glance, but, like, all the creatures that you want to be warriors, once you get one of these uncommon guys, like, there's Chief of the Edge, Chief of the Scale, 1 pumps power, 1 pumps toughness. And you're like, yeah, oh, my 0-4 for 1 is a warrior, and, you know, my 1-1 Death Touch guy is a warrior. There's a lot of warriors in this set. I really like this deck. What he needs, though, is he needs 1-drops. Because the thing you really want to do with Mardu Skull Hunter is you want to play it on turn 2.
Right.
And I haven't studied this pool, but I mean, you got to look. Yeah, he's got the Disowned Ancestor up there in his 1-drop slot. Maybe
Ruthless Ripper's the Death Touch one?
No, the Death Touch guy is white base. I don't remember which one Ruthless Ripper is.
I thought Ruthless Ripper was the Morph Death Touch.
Oh, the Morph Death Touch, right.
Yeah.
Right, I'm
But you
thinking
can
there's
also play for 1, right?
Which you can also play for 1.
Yeah.
That seems like a fine card. Those 2 need to get into this list. And then this deck looks pretty good. A couple of Abzan guides to unmorph.
Does he have a Timely Horde Mate?
I haven't noticed a Tidely Hornmate yet.
Because that you could do some really sick stuff with the Mardu Skull Hunter and get it in there. You know, it trades, and then you're like, oh, Raid is triggered. Let me play my Tidely Horde Mate and bring my Mardu Skull Hunter back, and sort of start chaining your raids together.
Yeah, I think Raid, it's going to show up in Mardu. I think that it's really Mardu and Abzan are going to be fighting over the Raid cards is I think what's actually going to happen because they're so good. Horde Chief might be one of the better commons in the set. So anybody with white is going to like that guy. But it's really Mardu and Abzan who are going to be fighting over it.
Yeah, I see the Disowned Ancestor. Yeah, there's some really nice stuff here in this pool.
But he took Disowned Ancestor out of the main.
Might jump back.
It doesn't look as good. I mean, it's 0-4, right?
It seems so good to me.
Well, but it doesn't look as good as what
right. Yeah.
You look at it, you're like, nice warrior. 0-4.
Why would you play a wall? Well, not only is it a warrior, not only can it attack and turn on raid, it's also got Outlast.
Right.
So, you know, you tap it once, suddenly it's a 1/5, holds off almost anything. You tap it another time, 2/6, you can build it up into a real attacking force after you've got past the early mana curve portion of the game. Yeah, I think that card is going to attack more than any 0-4 in the history of Magic. That's my bold prediction.
I think that is pretty reasonable, and and in the field, you know your opponent's going to make a 2-drop, a 2-power creature on turn 3.
Yeah,
it's great to be able to get an 0-4 that becomes a 1/5 onto the board before that.
And so many people are going to slump in their chair when they get attacked by an 0-4, and they know that they're going to now start figuring out. Start looking
at which land
what
they don't need.
What do I discard to the Skull Hunter? You guys watching anybody else, or still on Paul?
I'm still looking at Paul. I'm curious to see how this shapes out. He's gone a little bit of black here.
He has white and black currently pulled down into his Tamer build.
Oh, yeah. There's the white on the other side. So he's thinking about maybe a little Abzan Tamer alliance.
Could be. I mean, he does have a lot of mana fixing up there, but this might be a little bit ambitious. We'll see. He gets a throttle, which is a nice removal spell.
Solid removal spell.
Yeah, 5 mana.
Combat trick, though.
Yes, it is an instant.
So they unmorph something. You're like, great, you've sunk 6 mana into that. Well, your 6/7's actually just a, 2/3
or whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, looks like Paul does have that treasure cruise up there. Attaboy. All aboard. The value boat's leaving the hull here. I love that card.
Couple of Savage Punches. Force Away seems like a great card to me.
It's pretty good, yeah.
Especially where people are going to be sinking, 5 or 6 mana, into unmorphing your creature.
Morph creatures,
pick that up.
Or like maybe they've outlasted for 4 turns in a row
yes.
and now can finally attack you, and you're just like, yeah, go away.
Yeah.
It's also got Ferocious. You get to loot, which I am definitely a fan of that.
Yeah, it's also a nice sort of tension between that and Disdainful Stroke. A lot of people are playing their expensive cards. They're like, well, I could play this face up, but I want to play it face down in case you have Disdainful Stroke, and you can counter target spell that costs 4 or more.
Right.
And you're like, okay, now I'll unmorph, and you're like, oh, sorry, I actually have Force Away.
Yeah. And it's the same mana cost, yeah. So Paul has it narrowed down to 30 cards here, so we'll let him keep working on it. Randy, who do you have?
I've been looking at Frank Lepore, who chose to open Jeskai, a pre-release pack. And what's the rare you're hoping for if you're opening a Jeskai pack?
I think I want the 3/3 Vigilance, Haste, and Flyer.
Mantis Rider?
Mantis Rider.
Yeah, that's the one that's the one Frank has.
Oh,
sitting there
very
right
nice.
on top of his 3-drop slot. Yep, there you see the Mantis Rider sitting on top of the 3s. He's, of course, got everything divided up by converted mana cost.
Jeskai Ascendancy, too.
Yes.
Really, you guys are excited. I'm excited about Herald of Anafenza.
Explain that one to me.
So Herald of Anafenza is the 1-drop. So, A, turns on raid for your turn 2 plays.
Sure.
If you want that. But what it also has is Outlast 2 and a white. And whenever you use the ability, whenever you activate the ability, you put a 1/1 white flying token into play.
Okay,
so
that is exciting. That's a rare, right?
Yeah, it is a rare.
That's a rare.
That's a rare.
I don't want to see too much of that guy. That card seems sweet.
And they're warriors, too?
Yeah.
I was going to call it Keldrod Outpost, but that only made soldiers. This is better.
Yeah, that card just seems terrific. I mean, that card seems like, that card seems standard worthy to me.
Could be. The 2 and a white's a little prohibitive, but I like the fact that it's a 1-drop.
Just imagine it coming in out of the sideboard in certain matchups and just being like, oop, okay.
Yeah, the fact that Outlast is a sorcery sometimes make those a little clunkier. Might rather do that on their turn and construct
yes.
But you're right. It's definitely.
Yes, I would like to open up all my presents 2 days before Christmas, too.
All right, well said.
Ooh,
Valley Dasher is going to see a lot of play in the 2-drop.
Now there's an interesting card on the far right there, Dead Drop. It costs 10 mana, but it's got Delve, so you can put a big dent in that converted mana cost, and it says target player sacks 2 creatures.
That's not what it says.
What does
it says
say?
Barter and Blood you.
Yeah. Barter and Blood you. That's a bad trade. I don't like how you barter, Brian David Marshall. I'm not interested in trading with you anymore.
For the record, not actually a Jeskai card. Frank's thinking about splashing for it.
Yeah, we've got Paul thinking about splashing over here.
I wonder if that's correct. So one thing that you'll notice about these Delve cards is that, especially that one that has 10, is you really do need ways to force cards into your yard. Like, you're not just trading off an occasional creature and resolving a sorcery here and there to get up to 10, generally speaking. He's also got
the Scavenger. The Scavenger's the one I think you can just get away with, I traded off a couple of creatures and suddenly I have a 4-mana 3/3 flyer. That's totally reasonable. It's also, by the way, a warrior.
The Scavenger?
The Sultai Scavenger is a bird warrior.
Oh, that's weird.
Yes, it gets pumped its power and its toughness.
This whole warrior thing is becoming very prominent.
It's bigger than you think.
Yeah, for sure. So Scavenger is a 3/3 flyer for 5 and a black with Delve, so you can cast it for cheaper.
Yeah.
Super solid card, though.
Yeah, but that one, like having the Scavenger and the Dead Drop is rough, though, right? Because if you draw both of them.
If he draws both, he can realistically cast one or the other during the course of the game.
I have found something I'm interested in looking at. Mr. Tom Ross of the Sultai clan.
Okay. Let's see what you found.
So, I see the Sultai Ascendancy, which is a never-ending stock of cards in your graveyard for your Delve. You sort of dig through your library. You look at the top 2 cards, you can put them back in any order in your upkeep, or put any number of them into your graveyard. So you can just start like ripping through, go, I'm just going to dump these 2 lands, draw a card, and fuel my Delve. He also has the Necropolis Fiend. That might even be the pre-release card for that clan. That guy's great. Again, 7 BB for a 4/5 flyer doesn't sound like a great deal. But when you add Delve and you put it into a clan where you're able to put a lot of cards into your graveyard, scout the borders. There's a card that makes you discard 2 cards. You make your opponent discard 2 cards, and then you mill 2 cards. So you start
just sort of incrementally building up the yard. Yeah. I see the Treasure Cruise is floating around over there too. Nobody can resist the booking that particular ticket. And it's great in a deck like this.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a deck that's going to be able to cast.
One thing I'm curious about, if you look down at the bottom, you'll see that he's got a Woolly Loxodon down there and a Glacial Stalker, I believe it's called. And these are both sort of not real flashy, right? Like we're talking about morph cards that have morph for 5 that turns into a 4/5 and morph for 6 that turns into a 6/7, but they don't have any other abilities. You know what? I think that those are going to end up being really important cards in the format. I think that, yeah, they might not jump out at you as some flashy 3-color bomb, but I think that they're going to end up being like the snakes, you know.
Woolly Loxodon is a haymaker when you unmorph it.
Randy, what do you got on in the red zone there?
I got Mariah Pagliocco's deck. She's also playing Abzan, but it wasn't the Abzan stuff. So I look at the 5-drop, and first thing I saw on the 5-drop is what might be the best Delve card in this set, Murderous Cut. This thing...
Destroy target creature.
Destroy target creature, I mean, 4B, sure, looks like a limited card, right? But Delve, that I think is definitely going to get played and constructed.
Right.
That is a super cheap, just
it's
destroy
an instant,
anything.
Yeah.
That is the removal spell that you want for your constructed deck.
Is that a Siege Rhino?
Look above the Murderous Cut.
Wingmate Rock.
Oh no!
Not that
Wingmate
guy.
Rock is 3W, 5 mana. You get a 3/4 flyer. Whenever your 3/4 flyer attacks, you gain life for everybody that's attacking. Pretty solid card, right?
Yes, I would play that in a heartbeat.
Absolutely. Oh, by the way, Raid, you get another 3/4 flyer.
Yeah, if you want to have some fun with your friends, describe this card to them, and then when they ask what rare it is, say uncommon.
Yeah. But it's in fact a mythic rare.
Yeah, it is in fact mythic. It is 2 different 3/4 flyers. Pretty like Raid is easy enough to turn on that you can just think of it as 2 different 3/4 flyers.
I would throw away any creature on my board at almost any time to get an additional 3/4 flyer. Like, that's just ridiculous. She's also got Siege Rhino there?
Yes. Yeah, Siege Rhino, another nice rare, on color Abzan.
Wow, her deck looks good.
The banner to make the mana work. She's got a Sandstep Citadel hanging out over there, Windswept Heath. Yeah, this is a great pool. I'm really excited about this deck. And she's got kind of a mix of some Raid, some Warrior stuff, some Outlast. There's not a big theme there. I think the theme here is just powerful,
raw
broken
power,
stuff.
Yeah.
The creatures in particular are just all individually outstanding. Yeah, the +1/+1 counter thing that's running around through Abzan, jury's still out in my mind. How can you get all of those cards into one deck? Or is it just kind of like, okay, the individual Outlast cards got
Yeah, because
like,
we've seen that there's one that grants trample to creatures that have +1/+1 counters, and
right.
there's one that grants reach.
Well, and one that grants flying. She's got the Abzan Falconer.
And the flyer, yes.
The Falconer gives everybody flying. The Jeskai Student, I think, is the one that gives everybody first strike. So, like, with Outlast, if you've got a bunch of guys with +1/+1 counters, they're also giving each other these special abilities. And then there's other cards that can refer to those things as well.
Ivory Tusk Fortress is the rare you want in this deck.
Okay.
5 mana for a 5/7 elephant, and then untap each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it during each other player's untap step.
Yeah.
Oh, so you actually get to Outlast.
Yeah.
Just loading up.
You get to Outlast and then Inlast.
Wow, that's really good.
Very nice.
By the way, I just want to come over here and take a look at Paul, what Paul's ended up doing. He has tightened this deck down. I think he's got looked like 24 cards here. This may be down to 23 now. 14 creatures, 18, 20. Yeah, this is 23 cards right now. You see,
he is straight up teamer here.
Straight up teamer. Looks like he put the banners away. Rolled them up. No, he's up on 24.
2 teamer banners sitting in
But he's been going back and forth on that tracker there.
He does have good mana.
Yeah, I mean, the weakest card here to me maybe the Jeskai Elder, but
I like the Jeskai Elder.
I mean,
I don't think it fits in this deck very well though.
Yes, when you're talking about building a deck, it's in context.
Right.
I like Scion of Glaciers, by the way. Sitting there in his sideboard.
Where is that? Up at the top?
Yeah,
there?
that's the 2 UU 2/5 elemental. It's just, and then it so it's a 2/5 for 4, and then it has
blue +1/-1.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Sort of a little morphling-ish ability.
I like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's 2 Embodiment of Springs up there, not in the played section.
Oh really?
Marshall Sutcliffe.
Wow, so Embodiment of Spring is blue mana for an 0/3. It doesn't have Defender. It can attack if you need to get your raid going, but it's got the ability that you can pay 1 and a green, tap it, and sack it, and you can go find a basic land, put it on the battlefield, tap, basically we call it a rampant growth effect from that. I like that card a lot. It sits there, it blocks morphs.
Right.
And if they bother to unmorph, you're like, okay, I'll go get a land.
Right.
You know, fix my mana, ramp it up a little bit. I like that.
And if it dies, it dies. You don't
yeah,
really,
you can
care
live
much.
with that. You can live with that, yeah. Unless you really need the fixing, which
Yeah.
you know, I do plan on being in positions where I really need the fixing pretty often in this format, but yeah.
All right, going back to Randy here.
Yeah, I've been watching Erin Campbell build a little bit. She's Sultai.
Oh yes, tell me more.
Well, it turns out the Sultai mage cannot resist the charms of one Sorin, the Solemn Visitor. So
That's,
you may see
okay.
a little bit of white mana sneaking into this deck. Not gonna leave
works.
the Planeswalker in the sideboard, right?
I think I might go that route too, especially in sealed.
You're on board with the
Oh,
fourth
I would
color?
go that route for sure.
Yeah, well, we know.
I'm already on that route. 2 Ice Feather Avens?
Yeah, the
too?
2-drop slot looks really
Yeah,
sweet here.
I am
Double
pretty,
Ice Dad? I'm jealous.
I am pretty jealous.
A Planeswalker? This deck looks awesome. This is what I want to be doing right here.
200 mandrels in the sideboard in Sultai.
Oh, that doesn't seem right. Yeah, I think I'd get that Jeskai Elder out of there. Run a Mandrels.
Wow, there's a Savage Knuckleblade in your sideboard, too.
Sultai Soothsayer is a card I am looking forward to casting many, many times.
Is that the 2/5?
That is the 2/5. So when it comes into play, you look at the top 4 cards of your library, you put one of those cards in your hand, and then you draw the other 3 cards by putting them in your graveyard.
Yes. or you know, maybe it's a
Dark Ritual.
ritual.
It's a Dark
yeah,
Ritual,
like you
yeah.
can look at it different ways, but you certainly are going to get value out of that card on
got-
coming and going.
It's going right into the Spider Spawning Commander deck.
I mean, it should already, like, we should sneak up to the 4th floor here and try to snag one of those.
This Woolly Loxodon is worth keeping an eye on, by the way. When you're attacking into a morph, and you're wondering, like, what's the biggest thing?
What's
they're
the
gonna flip
worst thing
over?
that could happen?
Right. Turns out, at common, if they have 6 mana, they can flip over a 6/7.
Yeah.
You know, your 6/6 can just get eaten.
I'm telling you, I'm going to keep my eye on those type of cards so much. You know, I remember when Theros came out and Nessian Asp was largely overlooked in the early stages. It was like, yeah, that card's probably fine. You know, it wasn't exciting, right? It had Monstrous, and it was like, oh, okay, it looks pretty good. But then, like, a week in, it was like, wow, this card is just performing. And then 2 weeks in, it was like, this is just either one of the top 3 best green commons. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some of these vanilla morphs turn into that as well.
That's a great way to look at Morph, actually, is through the lens of Monstrous.
They're all 3 mana
Yeah.
2/2.
They're all 3 mana 2/2s with Monstrous.
Yeah. Except for they can turn into really cool stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, you would certainly play a 2/2 that had Monstrous 6 become a 6/7.
Yeah.
4+5.
Yeah.
Sign me up. I'm
I
in.
would play. And I will be playing that that elephant, no doubt about that.
Yeah, it definitely, you look at it, you see 7 mana 6/7. You're like, I'm not going to play a 7 mana 6/7. Why
Is
would I
that
play
Villainous Wealth? Yeah, in the 3-drop slot.
Yes,
that's
it is.
that's the Genesis Wave U card, right? Yeah, it's super cool. So it's Sultai and X, and what you get to do is reveal the top X cards of an opponent's library, and then you can cast any of the spells in it for free as long as they're X or less.
That's unfriendly.
Oh, it is. It is disturbingly unfriendly, and it is super
I mean,
cool.
do you think you'd feel at least a little bad doing it?
No.
I would not.
The only
either.
time I'd feel bad is if I had to fire it off for like only 3. That's when I'd feel bad. Oh, I hope that we get to see that thing fired off on the stream here today, because that is such a cool card.
There's your embodiment of spring. Oh, I'm looking at a different.
Who are you looking at? You still on Paul?
Yeah, I'm still on. Just keeping an eye on where Paul ends up.
Looks like Erin's, she's really trying out a whole bunch of different builds here. I see a couple of Sultai banners there. One of them already in the deck and 2 more in the sideboard. But she may have settled on a deck here. She's got lands down there. I like the 4 multicolored lands as well. Oh, those 2 Ice Feather Avens, so lucky.
Only playing 1 of her 3 Sultai banners?
She's only playing one of them.
Don't you just play those?
I think you probably play 2 of them.
The fact that they can cycle, so you maybe, they look like mana cards. They're like, okay, 3 mana, and all it does is fix my mana. But that's not all it does. Because once you have your mana fixed off lands, you just sack it and draw a card.
Yeah, but it's 6 mana. I mean, I think playing against Mardu or something, like you're not going to feel that comfortable tapping out and, you know, wasting an entire turn on it. I think 2 of them probably is where I'd want to be.
Paul Chan has ended up with his 2 Tamer banners in his sideboard of his Tamer deck.
I think I like the banners a lot more than that. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to play 4. I feel like I feel like you can play 3 depending on your curve. I'm not going to hesitate to play 2.
I think 2 is probably the sweet spot, maybe 1. I mean, they do take valuable slots, right? Like they're not removal, they're not creatures.
Yeah, but they don't because they're cantrips.
You're playing that in place of a land. You're playing like 17 land and a banner, 17 land and 2 banners.
Yeah, I'm playing like 17 land, 2 banner.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't think you can. I'm not going to go down to 16 land because I have 2 banners.
No.
Because it does cost 3 to get it going. But I'm playing 17 land, 2 banners, so I get the fixing, I get the acceleration, I get to cast, you know, awesome bomb gold cards, and often a turn earlier. But then later in the game, I get to just sack them and draw real cards.
Yeah, I like it.
So I'm just watching Paul Cheon maybe figure out his mana here for his deck. He ended up on 23 cards, 4 mana fixers in terms of the lands, and now he's you know, moving around his basics and trying to figure out what to do. Ended up 5 forests, 6 islands, and just 2 mountains.
Yeah, I think that all of his duels make red.
Yeah.
So that should give him 6 red mana sources, so not bad. Randy, what do you got?
Throw it back to
If
Randy.
you want to see one more, I've got the other Teamer deck in the field. Scott McCollum also chose Teamer, and he's got his build pretty much lined up.
I see a white card over there. I see a black card over there. Scott, look at his mana.
What is that?
Look at his mana base. It's like a couple of basics sprinkled in.
Did he go fully 5? 2, 2, 2, 1. Wow. There's
That's
all
all
5
the colors.
basics. His basic lands are 2, 2, 2, 1, 1.
Oh, Icy Blast. I'm excited about that
Yeah,
card.
he's 5 color.
Very nice.
Oh, Icy Blast looks nasty. What do you get to do? You get to tap the creatures. 8 non-basics? Is that what you counter Rashad?
Tap X creatures.
And this
for
is a
blue X.
Uh-huh.
And then if you're ferocious, those creatures don't untap next turn.
They get frozen up for
Yes,
a turn?
yes.
Jeez. And that's an instant?
Yeah, it is an instant.
Yuck.
That card seems terrific to me.
And you see some furious tweeting before our match actually starts here from Mr. Scotty Mac there. Get a look at some of our other competitors. So once again, if you're just joining us, we are doing a Cons of Tarkir pre-release here in the wake of the Magic Online Community Cup, and we're going to be bringing you all of these matches in order. We're not going to run them all at the same time like